All right, folks, it's your boy Chris Lee and your boy.
So Lee,
This is a Kickback Podcast. This is another episode. We can't stop. We won't stop. So this is a very this episode may ruffle some feathers because we may be non-supportive or supportive of who's based off the topic. Can we cancel culture? Um, I know this cancel culture thing has been something in pop culture for at least the last 10 years. A lot of celebrities, a lot of athletes, a lot of people who might have said things they shouldn't have no business saying and was canceled, or you had some people who were just simply sharing their opinion or view on something and they got canceled by a certain group of people or a certain community just because they disagreed. So we're kind of gonna give our opinions on what the cancel culture, what's going on, and why it shouldn't be something, and who actually have the power. Who's the one behind this cancel culture? Or we know people on Facebook or social media, quote unquote, cancel people, but there are some powers that be that cancel celebrities and people of power to where they'll be put on with a muzzle. So we're gonna try to get to the bottom of that within this episode here. So if you like our content, if you like what we do, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share our content as much as possible. So I'm gonna pass the torch to Mr. Soley just to kind of get his views on what got going on with the cancel culture and how he feels about cancel culture.
I think with certain aspects, like you said, you mentioned about when somebody just voicing their opinion about things, or just their view. I think we're at a point now that if it's not our way, then it's nobody way. If I don't like it, then you ain't supposed to like it, or she ain't supposed to like it too. And I think that's really wrong. Um, I think that's had an effect on a lot. It has had an effect on even music now. You know, just because for one, from Michael Jackson, everybody want to cancel Michael Jackson. You want to cancel Prince, you want to cancel Kanye. Um, Now it has dabbled into the NBA. Now we want to cancel Kyrie. You know, um, and it was other aspects in there on how we should cancel them or um how or when. And I think it's like a bandwagon effect, and I don't think it's fair to a lot of people. Some people that has done quote unquote wrong, um, still living it up. It has never been a council culture coming after them. But as soon as somebody says something or voice their opinion about something, then somebody wants to come after them. And as soon as one come after the other, especially I'm gonna say this, like for the LGBTQ, um, that has been that is a very powerful um, group. I'm saying,
Right.
and and I mean, if somebody, because I have known some situations that um, someone has made a move towards them, and they weren't gay, um, and then that particular group, some members in that particular group came after them, and just because they said no, they weren't like that, and it was the cancel culture kind of thing, and I was like, dang, yo, I can even say no now, like like if I'm not like that, or he's not like that, she's not like that, and they say no, now we're gonna come after them like, well, since you said no, then I'm gonna turn the whole state or turn the whole world against you now. And I think that's really, really unfair. Like you can't have an opinion nowadays. It's it's really unfair. Like I don't know how this council culture came about, but I think we're doing it we're we're doing it so much now that it's like now it's like a normal thing now. It seems like it's really unfair, but to each his own. But I don't see like if you don't like something, then you don't like it. You know,
Right.
if somebody else happens to not like it, then you too don't like it. Don't
Right.
try to turn the whole world against somebody. Just
Right.
because. You know, that's me.
I understand, man. I 100% agree with that, but in the same token, I do believe um there are some people that do need to understand the weight of their actions,
Oh
you
yeah, I
know,
agree. I
of
agree.
what they do and what they say. There got to be some consequences held for that. And I think the problem is you have groups of people who take advantage
Hmm.
of that that council um, train.
Hmm.
There are certain people who said things that are either racist or deemed extremely racist or extremely offensive or extremely sexist or homophobic that need to understand or be educated on, what their wrongs are. I think so. There's a sense to where I understand how cancel culture was birthed, and I don't disagree with the origin of it.
Hmm.
However, I do disagree on where it's going now
Hmm.
because you
Right.
have people that are in control of cancel culture, and they're get pretty much red lighting anybody that disagree with whatever their agendas are.
Hmm. Hmm.
And a fun example is with Bootsy, Lil Bootsy, the rapper, and the Wade family, Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union, and Dwayne Wade's children, or
Hmm.
his son who's
Hmm.
transitioning to his daughter. Um, I think Lil Bootsy was asked. I think it was at a Vlad interview where he was asked about that situation because he made statements before about it.
Right.
And he was just basically saying a child that young shouldn't be given that much power over who they are. They're still figuring themselves out,
Hmm.
and they shouldn't be deemed that much power to choose. Oh, I don't feel like I'm a boy. I'm actually a girl, and the parents gas like that. That
Hmm.
shouldn't be a thing. That's exploiting your child and the confusion and using it as a inclusion device. Like, hey, look, my child is also part of the alphabet community. Give us all the free things that comes with it,
Hmm.
all the attention and all the spotlights that come with it.
Hmm.
And I think I agree 100% with Lil Bootsy because I believe a child that young shouldn't have that much power. And then obviously when Lil Bootsy said that, you had that community just straight went for his juggler,
Hmm.
just straight tried to cancel him and try to come for him and discredit him and degrade him and question his sexuality and just really try to bury him.
Hmm.
Um, and he stood up. He stood on his 10 toes through all of it. Even Gabrielle tried to question his sexuality because of, his back and forth with little Nas X and whatnot. And Bootsy was just basically saying, "Hey, this is my opinion, and I'm deemed worthy of my opinion, and my opinion shouldn't be taken away from me because I disagree." And to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, the alphabet community has been, in my opinion, has been bullying a lot of people because somebody disagree with your agenda or disagree with your whatever your way of life or way you're doing things. That doesn't mean they should be counseled. That's the whole purpose of being in this country here is freedom of speech, which is our freedom of speech is under attack
Hmm.
greatly. I mean, you can see that evident on Facebook and social media. You say something, you can literally show somebody losing their life on Facebook.
Mhm.
I'm talking about graphic video and all.
Mhm.
You can show someone naked. I don't know if you've been seeing that little trend
Mhm.
now. We'll say, check my story, and they showing all their body parts and
Mhm.
whatnot. But if somebody says something that's against the agenda, then they're banned and all that. Like it shows you what's really going on. This is not a coincidence.
Mhm.
So I do believe that our freedom of speech is under attack, and I think, especially if it's anything against the alphabet community, alphabet, the alphabet community, or the J word community, um, are right now seen to be the most powerful tool at this point. The J word community definitely put Kyrie in, people like Slim Thug, as well as Kanye West, under fire because of their stance on what they believe, who controls the music industry, who control Hollywood and whatnot. Dave Chappelle and other individuals who spoke about the alphabet community was also under fire. And I think it all depends on the context. If it's harmful or threatening, then yeah, sure. But
Mhm.
it is amusing. I mean, as an adult and as grown-ups, you can honestly just kind of like, just, if we're adults, we gotta be able to have that thick skin. We're not children anymore. We can't just be ultra sensitive over certain things. If you're gonna carry yourself in this, if you're a 6'4" man and build like Terry Crews with a wig on and a mini dress, and you deem people to call you ma'am, and deem you as Keisha and as a female, you gotta take the negative along with the positive along with it. Everybody's not gonna say, "Oh, you're so beautiful. Congratulations. You came out." No, not everybody's, because some people just gonna be blunt and honest. Some people could say, "No, bro, you literally look like Mike Tyson in the wig." Like, nah, bro, like, nah, you don't pass as female. Nah, son. You know what I'm saying? And soon as somebody say anything where I'm a female, and the person who is with two eyes or four eyes in this case can say, "You clearly a male," you're canceled. You're canceled. Cancel this person. Cancel them because he said no, because it's common sense, and this world is being robbed of common sense. Common sense is being thrown out the window now. And then with cancel culture, you have people who are who should be canceled, that are not canceled. They're not. They're still running around, like you said, around out here, still reaping the benefits of what they do. I don't know if you remember some years ago, and I'm not going to speak too much onto it because I don't have all details, but there has been a thing with the Epstein Island situation.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it was around the same time with the R. Kelly situation.
Mhm.
And people straight rolled R. Kelly behind about the underage went girls, which is rightfully so.
Mhm.
But in the same token, you have people like the Epsteins, and not just the Epsteins, but people surrounding them that are in great power,
Mhm.
political power,
Mhm.
Hollywood power, that has been outed. That flight list didn't disappear, still
Mhm.
exists.
Mhm.
Young lady that was Mr. Gonzell or Miss Gonzell, who was on trial, was going to out everyone. She was going to snitch on everybody. And ironically, she's quiet and she's doing time. So what happened there? A lot of celebrities was outed that we grew up loving, watching their films as children and as adults,
Yeah.
who basically other Hollywood people who blown the whistle say, yes, this is true. And they still walk in this earth producing movies, starring in films, children films as well. You co-star with children, and we know the whole background to that whole Epstein Island and this
Yep.
failure thing. And a lot of these people are still running rampant and reaping the benefits of their celebrity.
Yeah.
And mind you now, R. Kelly, same boat, not as big. They held him to the cross. They straight, he jail time, ridiculed him, demonized him, got family members, close everybody who they could on that gravy train to drive that brother into the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm pro R. Kelly. What I'm saying is, if you're going to do him that way, then what about Harvey Weinstein,
Mhm.
who clearly was on trial?
Mhm.
What about my man that played on House of Cards, I forgot his name, but forgot the young man's name. But this gentleman who clearly had young men who were teens at the time who were taken advantage of,
What?
and got on the stand and said, "This brother did this to me, and I was underage," and they
Yeah.
did everything with quiet.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Then it's so crazy where you can't cancel them though, right? You can't cancel them, but you can cancel R. Kelly. You can cancel Chris Brown. Or you can cancel Michael Jackson. And the whole situation, Michael Jackson was buying Sony, right? Michael Jackson bought back his own masters. And if you know anything about music, then you know when an artist has the right over their masters, they literally and physically speaking, have no master. So the whole definition of a master in Hollywood is the record labels own that. Therefore, they have the power over your catalog. So they can choose what to put out and what not to put out, and they make the bigger residuals off of your masters. So when an artist buys that back, they also buy back their voice, they buy back their brand, they buy back their legacy. So when Michael Jackson bought, obviously, a portion or a huge portion rather of Sony, oh, you better believe they didn't like that at all.
Right.
Shortly after, here comes Michael Jackson out of the picture completely. So, and then after his death years later, I'm talking about 15, 20 years later, Oprah Winfrey and all these other high level, ace level star celebrities want to make a documentary called Surviving Neverland. After this brother has been dead for how long?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you mean to tell me Oprah Winfrey, who's best friends with you know who, Harvey Weinstein, the company you keep, and I just say that. You know what I'm saying? But these people don't be counseled though. You don't cancel buddies and best friends and poker buddies.
Right.
You'll cancel somebody who is literally not alive to speak for themselves.
Right.
Like, what is the purpose of even bringing this out? Like, what is this? Do you not care about this man's family who suffered through that throughout his life and what drip? And now he's gone. Now you're gonna bring that back?
Yeah.
How dare you? Where's your decency at?
Yeah. Just like Jerry Lee Lewis, man.
Yeah.
It was another one that that was dealing with underage.
With his cousin, 14 years old.
Elvis Presley. Is another one.
16 years old.
But they want to call him the king, though.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting on the surviving Elvis Presley documentary. I'll be watching that Netflix. I'll be watching that. He was open about that. That was open. It wasn't some buried. It's not no conspiracy. He clearly was married to a 16-year-old people. So
I think it's really
yeah.
Oh man, it's one of the things. It's like, yo, this is what we're dealing with though. This is America.
I agree. So what do you think about when you making? I know you were saying you was working on a song that's been inspired by what inspired you to write that song was Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On," and I had the privilege to hear that song, y'all, and it's really cool. It's really good. The lyrics is very heavy, man. But my question to you though, since we're speaking on cancel culture, as an artist, do you fear that you don't have the creative range in this modern society of cancel culture to say what's on your heart? Do you feel like you have to hold back your honest to God opinions on a matter, on a subject, or on a topic because of a fear of you too may be canceled?
Man, whenever I do write a song, I try to make it so, because like you've known me for years. Like I don't hate nobody. I don't dislike anyone. and it's all about how you treat me, you know, in a whole, and that's how you're gonna get the return. How you treat me is how I'm gonna treat you. You know,
Right.
either I'm going to be like, I ain't gonna deal with you, or we can go another way.
Right.
But it's like, but I think for the most part, I try to be creative with my words, and I think a lot, you know, with these words, which sometimes holds up songs, and 'cause I don't want to push the wrong button, and it comes out like, oh, so Lee is insensitive, or he
Hmm.
doesn't know this, doesn't know that. Like I I put a lot of thought into my music. Um, but sometimes you just, especially speaking on subjects of the world,
You're right.
um, when it's put out to us, it's blunt, you know, it's straight in your face when it's put out. Um, but when we step back and take a look at it and interpret it, then it's like, why did you be as blunt? You know,
Right.
coming back. You understand?
Yeah.
You want to do it to me, but I can't give it to you the same way. You
Yeah.
know, which I've tried, man. Which and it's still a learning thing. It seems like I now know why it took so long for Marvin to finish. What's going on, and the other songs that he was doing on that album, um, which is so much going on now, and it was a lot going on then. But to speak on all those subjects, man, I'll be writing this song for years, man.
Right.
I'll be writing this project for years because it's so much going on. This stuff every day, and it's really traumatizing things that's going on every day, and they're very important. And it's like, dang, I want to put this in there or mention this, but the song will be freaking 10 minutes long. It'll be long as I don't know what, man, because it's so much going on. So getting back to your subject, yeah, I do feel sometimes like I'm kind of held back, because I don't want to step on any toes, but sometimes you got to step on toes for somebody to hear you.
I do agree. I know we agree a lot on here, but that's what makes us brothers because we do share a lot of the same visions. Um, I know a lot of people watching this is probably expecting the Shannon Sharp, Skip Bailey type, disagreeing. We haven't found her yet, but then again, the company you keep are normally like-minded individuals. So, there's that. Um, I do believe when I used to write songs, um, man, some years ago, I used to write songs on certain subjects that are now deemed ultra sensitive. And if
Mhm.
I was to put those songs on social media and share them now, they probably would be taken off, because of the context. And it wasn't nothing demonizing a group of people or demonizing anyone, but it's just really speaking on the elephant in the room.
Mhm.
And even with comedy, I am dabbling in comedy, and even with some of my bits I do, I've had people laugh, and some people like, man, that's not cool, Chris. So it's just everybody is feeling like they have to speak on something, um, or else they won't be part of the inclusion.
I'm glad you said that, man.
Right.
Because that's what I was talking to life about. Like, everybody seemed like they got to say something about an issue, and sometimes it's best to just not see anything. Because it's so many with social media now. Like, everybody got an opinion. And everybody has that platform to say something. Sometimes it's not like. Sometimes you just let it go. Just
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes when I hear about white people who be canceled because of something they like, for example, remember the movie Tropic Thunder?
Yeah, yeah,
Remember that
yeah.
when you had Brandon, I think Brandon B. Jackson,
Robert
um,
Downey.
Robert Downey Jr., Jack Black,
Hmm.
um,
Ben.
Ben Still, I forgot his last name.
Yeah, Ben Stiller. Hmm.
Yeah. So that's probably one of my favorite comedies in recent years, or
Yeah.
within the 20-year frame. That's probably one of my favorite comedies because it has so many A-list comedians in there and people who weren't comedians that was funny. But neither here nor there. So you had Robert Downey Jr. So the whole premise of the movie was actors playing actors in a movie that also is playing actors. So it's like a double entendre there. But
Yeah.
that's what made the movie so genius because in the film, Robert Downey Jr.'s character was a guy who's a Renaissance style of actor, and he was going to portray a black man,
Mhm.
and he took the role so serious he went in to have a pigmented surgery to
Mhm.
to make himself black. They had to throw in everything,
Mhm.
and throughout the movie he was pretty much shining like a brother from the 70s,
Yeah.
and just really leaning into that role. And it was genius in my opinion. And I'm black, clearly I'm black, but it was genius in that opinion. And people, when I went to the theater, I remember it came out when we was all in college, and I think I went there, um, and I watched the movie. And majority of the people that were there were a mixed audience. It
Mhm.
was black, it was white, it was all type of nationalities. But when everybody laughed, I at first I felt like it was so funny to me, but I'm looking around if there was another brother looking at me with a, with a kick in his head, a
Yeah.
militant brother like, I dare you,
Yeah.
that's not funny. But everybody was laughing, everybody was just having a good time. And that's probably one of my favorite Robert Downey Jr. characters because
Mhm.
of just how funny it was. But now, fast forward years, much, much, much later, people are just now realizing or just woke up from under a rock. So, oh my God, that wasn't a black actor. That was a white man playing the black actor. Oh, well, we are outraged. We need to cancel him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, wait, you want to cancel this brother from a movie that was released this long ago? When
Yeah.
he clearly was white in the film, and he's clear. I mean, did you just now found this movie?
Yeah.
And a lot of the black community is like, nah, man, we ain't trying to cancel Robert Downey Jr. Like, we rock with him. And I think a lot of people feel like they're not black enough if they don't counsel certain things. And here's the thing, folks, black folks, we're not offended by everything. Like, cut it out. We're
Mhm.
not. We really ain't.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people ask about the N-word thing, and not to kind of jump off that, but it all depends on who you asking. But honestly, the N-word is the least of our concerns in this modern day and age. Um, when if you got cops or had cops killing unarmed black individuals and not taking it, and you got these Caucasian or white people going mass murder sprees who are handcuffed properly and put into the cars and took it all for trial. But this brother who was just selling CDs was choked out. This brother was just buying a candy bar from the store, shot. This, so it's like the N word is no longer doesn't deem to hold the weight that they're trying to get it to hold. And you have um, podcasters or white podcasters who used the N word in the past or years before and had black co-hosts at the time, and they dig up these old videos and say, "Hey, remember this guy said this? Oh, let's cancel him." And it's like you running out of things to cancel to where you're just going through archives of people's work. And
Yeah.
like, you said this 20 years ago, we got to cancel you. You said it 20 years ago. I know you was young. I know but yeah, we got to cancel you.
Yeah.
And I think it's unfair. I think it's so much more going on in the world to just try to cancel everything that disagree with your agenda, and I just think we really got to grow a pair or a set, and I know a lot of people be offended with that, but guess what? Put on your big boy pants, put on your big girl pants, because this world is not favorable towards anybody or any group.
Mhm.
Black folk, we've been fighting for equal rights since our grandpappy and them. And you got the alphabet community, maybe they have not been on the scene as long as we come from boats now.
Mhm.
But and they pretty much got visa cards to do whatever and say whatever and be whatever and do whatever. You know what I'm saying? And shame on you if you disagree with them because now you cancel automatically. Meanwhile, at the Batcave, black brothers and sisters still can't get the proper respect we deemed and we've been asking for so many years. And we're still given inches at a time, inches at a time, where people can say what they want about us.
Yeah.
That's what Kanye was mentioning about the Big J community, where they pretty much bankrolling these young artists to make music to demonize or discredit our culture or to take us years backwards. Where you got these young female rappers and artists who talking about popping their coochie and WAP and all this, and these young African American brothers talking about shooting and stabbing each other, sleeping each other's baby mama, girlfriends, and all this and the third. Anything to demonize or to take your culture back, you're green light to do so.
Or the question on that, is it all them, or do you put some blame on the artist too? Or is it like, well, the artists know what's going to sell, so they got to do what they got to do to make some money?
It's a two-way street because it's a little bit of both, but it's mostly the big people
Mhm.
because I think it's like the big people, they're the ones who have the power of what single is put on what album, what songs go on these albums.
Mhm.
So you better believe there's probably 10 out of 10 artists who got songs they championed to be on their album or their release album, but never made the cut.
Mhm.
And because this people are not gonna. The numbers says people won't flock to this, or the algorithm says people won't bop to this. You need to put this out.
Mhm.
So I believe it's part of the artists themselves, but I think they're gaslighted to magnify what they already speaking on. And I think it's a two-way street. But I think also, for example, you have a lot of artists like Big Crit. You have artists like J. Cole, you have artists like JID, you have artists like Locksmith, you have artists like um, K. Dot, plenty of artists I didn't even name yet, but you got them who are speaking on the uplift of just being artists. You know, they're not making a song about I got a 100 round chopper, anything like that. But my thing is, if cancel culture is going to cancel the things that's destroying your community. How about that?
That's true.
Cancel that style of music that's demonizing our people and that got people looking at us as a whole like all we are is drug dealers and rappers and basketball players.
Mhm.
We got doctors and scientists too.
Mhm.
We got scientists who also cured cancer, but people won't speak on that. We got people who cured diseases that people won't speak on. We got people who are doing magnificent things in the medical practice or in the law of practice and the other practices outside of the entertainment field, but they don't get the same spotlight.
Mhm.
And so let's cancel that mentality that every female rapper have to put out thought music.
Right.
Let's cancel the mentality that every young brother have to make a music about ops and shooting and whipping it in the pot and stabbing and high and drunk off of lean and Percocets and all this. Like, come on, cancel that. If you want to cancel, how about not so to speak cancel? If we don't cancel culture, then let's point it in the things that hold us back as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
You see what I'm saying? Let's point it towards, the infrastructure of racism that's still going on. You
Mhm.
know, let's cancel these political parties that only take pictures with Black Baptist churches when it's time to vote.
Mhm.
These politicians who only show up to Black barbecues and Black gatherings to take pictures with Black babies just to get Black votes. Cancel that.
That's right.
If you ain't been around here putting in work, helping better this community like you said you would, then don't come back around here to take a photo out.
That's right.
Don't use our people as a ploy to get to where you want to be, and then once you where you want to be, you disown us.
That's right.
Cancel that.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of that lately. lately,
Cancel that.
a
Real
lot.
that. Like people are, oh, we got president or vice president or this candidate want to come to your. No, we're fine. They wasn't here before. Why they coming here now? They weren't here. Were they here the last 3 years? No. Well, then tell them to stay out.
That's right. That's right.
Find another way. So and there's other things to counsel. Let's counsel. Um. 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 You know. Let's cancel school loans. Let's cancel that, huh? Let's cancel your school loans.
Yeah,
That's charging us $50,000 to $60,000 and guaranteed a placement in a career field that a lot of us haven't even got the support on. So let's cancel hospital debt. All types of things. It's so many things that can be canceled out there to where it's not.
That's right. Yeah, even like NFL. Don't get me wrong. I like the NFL. I like the NBA. I like the MLB. But sometimes, like, I forgot who it was that was speaking on my man that got hurt.
It was Skip Bailey.
No, it was another dude. It was a black dude. He had made this comment like, "Yeah, when are we going to stand up to like certain situations, like with the NFL, and because NFL been going through some stuff for hell at least since concussion came out. I forgot how long that was.
Yeah, that really shed a lot of light on what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, man, and it's still a lot. It's a lot of things that's not good in the NFL and the NBA because, and I'm speaking on the financial aspect of it also, and that's what I'm talking about. Like when they can't play, like a lot of people are saying, yeah, praying. We got our prayers for, what's my man's name that got hurt?
DeMar, I think.
What's his name?
I think his name was DeMar.
Okay. If it's not, I apologize.
Yeah.
But my man that got hurt for the Bills, and all prayers for him. Yeah, that's great. But if he can't get back out there on that field, then what's going to happen to him? That's his second year in the NFL, I believe. I think only his second year. So those like benefits and stuff don't start coming along until your third or fourth year.
Yeah, like contracts and sponsors.
Yeah. So what is it now? What's for him now? Unless he can get back out there on the field and play some games and sign another contract. Like prayers for him, That's
now I did read somewhere, and I'm not sure how true it is because a lot of false news is more access to false news than anything. But I did read on quite a few different publications that the Bills and the NFL did work out a deal where he would receive his $3.4 million contract. So he'll still receive his residuals from that, although he's been hurt, whether he returns to the field or not. But man, I believe, and I know we got to wrap this up, people, and I swear we can wrap this up soon. But sometimes with topics get good, man. Sometimes it gets good. But we gonna definitely have it under 50 minutes, positive, sure. But and I don't want to edit this, so we're gonna just have to put this out as is because it's so much. So just bear with us. But nah, man, real quick, like I think the NFL has became a chameleon of sorts because I think ever since the whole spotlight was brought on police brutality and how they done the whole thing with Kaepernick, I think they start to move and play off emotions more than sincerity.
Yeah.
So when you have over this weekend, when you have teams giving what you call it tributes towards the young man who got hurt from the Bills, giving tribute to him, different teams wearing his number, different they on a prayer on I've seen when it was the Broncos and the Chargers, I want to say.
Yeah.
And when Russell wore number 3 and the other guy wore number 3 as well, and they went to the middle of the field and got on their knees and kneeled and prayed, which is ironic because they deem no kneeling and they deem no praying. But okay, and and they given their respects towards the young man who got hurt and throughout the NFL, and that was very sweet of them all. That was very big of them all, and I really appreciate that effort. And whether it's real intentions or it's just calculated moves, and not to say these athletes are calculating their moves. I believe a lot of these athletes are creating a brotherhood, whether they're on a rival team or not. It's still a brotherhood because you're still out here putting your body and your body on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they, for the most part, have love across the board. Mm-hmm. But you got to wonder, is this just a way of manipulating the situation to where there's no blowback from this? There's no accountability to be handed out because of this,
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a really quick and smart way to avoid accountability on what happened to that young man.
Yeah.
And so as a way of like, look, quick, let's jump in front of this. Let's go ahead and get tributes going and let them know we're supporting them because we don't want potential lawsuits. Because the brother could, in fact, sue the NFL. He could. His family very well could. You know what I'm saying? And now, how far that would get, who knows? But he could. If he would have lost his life on that field. You see what I'm saying? On live TV for all to see. He could. His family could have. And the reality is, and everybody is given the same script to jump ahead of the curve. He's in our prayers. This is in our prayers. We hope we get better. And you're doing this kumbaya moments and all this stuff. But and don't get me wrong, a lot of people's heart might be in the right place. But also the bigger picture is, to me, it feels like a calculated move to kind of jump ahead of things before it get messy, because it very well could. It very well could be a situation where the NFL has caused so much damage to players. People who can't even walk properly now. You got Joe Brown, who now Jim Brown, I think, who brother couldn't even barely walk because his knees are so bad. And people who are just beaten up and hauled off the field because of just their body and the conditions they were in. And they're giving the youth to a sport that's pretty much like gladiators. And although we love watching them and we cheer on, and I got Tom Brady in the background and whatnot, but the reality of it is these brothers are putting their bodies on the line. And $3.4 million may seem like a lot of money, but if this brother's in the midst of could have lost his life on that field, that money wouldn't have mattered.
Even now, like if he doesn't come back to 100% with mobility, that $3.4 million is going to go fast because you got to go like month to month. Like, what is he the assistance wise? What is he going to need month to month? That's some expensive stuff.
The cost of living. This brother might have just got a house built. That mortgage may cost him $100,000 a month.
That's true.
You got to think about it. A lot of times when these people, not to cut you off, but a lot of times when these athletes sign these contracts, they go on and start other leases and assuming that this is going to be guaranteed money coming. So they put themselves in financial strongholds because they figure that this money's going to be coming anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and get this mansion. It's going to cost me this much. I'm going to go ahead and get these cars and all this that'll cost me this much. But over a while, and you got to think about it, they still get paid bonuses too as well. So that $3.4 million, man, you got to think about medical recovery, rehab. You see what I'm saying? Like that's not gonna be a significant amount of money for him at the end of the day. And he may not be able to be 100%. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe not now, maybe a year or two later after strong rehab, perhaps. But then would he be welcomed back with welcome arms? And would he be welcomed back to the same roster? Would he get his spot back? Probably not. But I just think
pick him up. That's another question. You
If
know.
anybody will pick him up, that's 100% true. I just believe it's one of those things, man. Just like what happened some years ago with Derrick Rose when he hurt himself for the
Mhm.
first time, and you had, he was with, I think he was with the Knicks originally,
Mhm.
and just kind of how things were handled and where he went and how he was bouncing from team to team to team, because people didn't really truly believe he could be that same Derrick Rose.
Mhm.
Now Derrick Rose, or he's retired now, but how he ended up finding his own with his, I think it was the Grizzlies he was with, and
Mhm.
how he just ended up showing people who I am before he hung up his jersey, so to speak. And a lot of people canceled him out because they didn't think he could be that same guy. Same thing with the young man who just got hurt. So to wrap that all up, man, I just believe we honestly should reevaluate what the meaning of counsel is and who should be and who shouldn't be, because you can't deem somebody from using a freedom of speech to be counseled. Now, if that's demonizing another community, or demonizing a set of people, or demonizing something or harmful, then sure, you got to be held accountable. But in
Mhm.
the same token, though, you can't take away everybody's freedom of speech because they disagree with you. That is nonsense. If
Yeah.
we don't believe you when you say you are transitioned to a woman and we still see you as Clarence from high school back in the days, then hey man, then whatever the so whatever it may be, that is what it is.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up because we is approaching that 50 mark. But it's your boy Chris Lee's the Kickback Podcast. This episode was really great. So if y'all see it, like and share it. Solely, let them know how to find you, what's going on.
Oh yeah. You can find me on One Super Band Music on Instagram and Sully and Super Band. Hit me hit me up anytime. And Derrick Rose, he played for the Knicks now. He's not retired though.
Oh, he's not retired. See, correction. That's why I need him. So with that being said, people, thank you for watching. Tune in next time. Peace, love, and growth.
All right now.